Okay, I think we're going already. Play the music! Play it! Play it, Billy! Billy! Thank you, Billy. Thank you. All right, we have breaking news tonight. I had no idea that this would happen, but breaking news. Apparently, Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that Uncle Joey's name was a stoner joke. Joey Gladstone, all this time. I thought it was kind of like Jellystone or Yellowstone or like a national park or something like that. And it turns out that breaking news, Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that Uncle Joey's name was nothing more than a stoner joke. This is rocking the nation from end to end. I've received no less than 2 calls about this already in the last 6 hours. People are really rocked to their core. A good family man like this who's never been caught up in anything other than that Alanis Morissette stuff. If you're just now joining us, like I said, devastating news here. Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that Uncle Joey's name was a stoner joke. So let's get right into this story here. All right. So, much like his Full House character, Dave Coulier is full of jokes. During a recent episode of his podcast, that's right, this man has his own podcast. Apparently, it's called Full House Rewind. No shame in that. I've done some TV podcasting myself. I love it. I love podcasting about movies and TV. So, no shame at the fact that he's doing a Full House Rewind. But he explained how his character's last name, Gladstone, was born. Quote, I got to pick my own last name. Did you know that? My character's last name. He told me, or sorry, let's see here. He told he told the guest or whatever. He said, yeah, the series creator, Jeff Franklin, said, I'm trying to get a last name for your character. So, hey, that happens. Series creator has a pretty good vibe on who the character is. They've cast who their actor is. They've got a first name. They know everything about him. But hey, we might have to give this guy a last name at some point. We don't have anything in the show Bible yet. Let's go to the actor, see if he's got any input. So, that's what it seems like Coulier is alluding to here. So it says, quote, yeah, Jeff Franklin said, I'm trying to get a last name for your character. And I said, this is speaking as Dave Coulier here, how about Gladstone? Gladstone is not a good joke. I mean, even for a kid's comedy, I never really tracked that it was a stoner joke, nor did I track that Dave Coulier was particularly a stoner. He more just seemed like a comic book guy almost. He was definitely in the wood. I'm doing that woodchuck voice. And he would say, cut it out. And he would do stuff like that. But I don't ever remember him alluding to smoking weed. If anything, I would say Uncle Jesse would be my front runner as the guy who would smoke weed. All right, yeah, Robert Weir, let's put your comment up on the screen. I was glad when I got stoned back in the 80s. That's right, let's go back. Hey, Strip Mall Escobar back online. Hell yeah. So, of all the characters on the show, we got the Greek guy, Jesse Kansopoulos there. He would have been the one I would peg to be a stoner. He hung out with the Beach Boys, alarming amount, I would say, for a guy who just kind of was a normal dude. He did seem to know the Beach Boys on a very personal level. And I know in real life that's because Stamos knew him and stuff like that. But for the show, it seemed absurd. And then Jesse's in a band, Jesse and the Rippers. Cool. This guy's got to be using drugs. So maybe that's it. Maybe he wasn't smoking pot. Maybe Jesse was doing hard drugs. Also had a smoking hot wife. Lori Loughlin, noted criminal now. I think she went down in Operation Varsity Blues. So she is a bit of a criminal. But I think that makes him more likely to use drugs. So I think Dave Coulier made a mistake here when... Oh, sorry if my mic just buzzed. I hit my cable there. There's Tommy G. Yo, Steve. Yeah, I think Dave Coulier made a mistake when, like I said, he has admitted that his character's name was just some stoner joke. He should have thought of a better joke for that. His character embodied nothing of a stoner. I mean, yes, he did a radio show later on, and he did some voice acting, and he was kind of an out-of-work actor, but those guys try anything. So I think this was a big miss. I'm going to keep reading on here. So, quote, what was it about Gladstone? His guest asked. I guess his guest was someone named Deborah Stipe. So what was it about Gladstone? Deborah Stipe asked. Was there a meaning behind it? Okay, let's see if there was. I'm going to go up with Tommy G's comment here. Yo, Steve. I always thought it was a funny name. It was almost like, oh my God, I hate this. I always thought it was a funny name, Coulier said. It was almost like, I'm glad that I'm stoned. Okay, I'm a comedian, so that's what I thought. And so Jeff laughed, and that was it. All right, so his whole pitch was that he's glad he was stoned because he was a comedian. Let me tell you, most people who get stoned every day are doing it to cover up deep trauma. It's not just to have a good time. You stop having a good time after a certain point. So, all right, I'm glad that he was stoned. And there's some people that are just out there having a good time. I don't mean to speak for everyone. But all right, in 2022, Dave Coulier took to Instagram to celebrate 2 years of sobriety. I don't like the turn this article is taking. With a throwback photo of himself, bruised and bloodied, the result of a drunken night. See, I drank too much. That's fine. We all do it. It's Saturday night. Why not? Let's drink up. Give me Tavares. Oh God, I gotta go with my left hand so I don't hit my mic cable. No. Oh, Tavares is halfway through. I missed it. I guess I hadn't played it since last night. Start from the top. Give me Tavares. Right in the butt. What? I'll stop it again. So the 5 of our better halves went out with the girls tonight, Robert Weir. Yeah, I'm always around alone. Any night that isn't Sunday or Monday, I'm here. I have to stop myself from going live most of the time. But no, I'm chronically lonely. I was a listener to radio for a long time. For that same reason, because I got kids around. They're not around right now. They're out of town and stuff like that. But no, my wife's a chef. She works nights. So we are ships passing in the night. So I'm typically either working during the day by myself with kids around or hanging with kids or just doing this stuff. It's fun. All right. So back to Dave Coulier. But I like that everyone's here hanging out. It's Saturday night. There's breaking Dave Coulier news. Like I said, let's go back to the banner. Let's just show it up here again. If you're just now joining us, breaking news of the day, Full House star Dave Coulier admits that Uncle Joey's name was just some stupid stoner joke. An idiot. All right. So more quotes from Coulier. Quote, I loved booze. All right. So he's like a real Brett Kavanaugh there, the old Supreme Court guy. That guy loved beer, as I recall. Quote, but it didn't love me back, Coulier said. That's tough. It's tough when you love something so much like booze and it doesn't love you back. Unrequited love with an inanimate object that also gets you effed up has got to be tough on you. It's got to be much more fun to have like unrequited love with at least like a lady of the night or something like that. I don't know, because at least they're not always there. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think is because booze is always there. In Texas, they shut down on Sundays. Every now and then you'll get a Sunday, Monday closure if you get like a weird Christmas holiday or something like that. But booze is always around, especially if you're Dave Coulier. You buy a bottle, it's there forever. So if it doesn't love you back, it's just staring at you in the face. You know it doesn't love you back. It's tough stuff. All right. So ultimately, the actor said he decided to, quote, make a decision for his own well-being, my family, and for those around me who he loves so dearly. All right, so that's good. I applaud him for, putting his health above all else. And now it goes on to talk about Full House. What a rip. I don't want to read about Full House. What up, sports cucks? It's all good if you're 8 minutes late. It's perfectly fine. These things are good to be watched not live. That's the thing. I kind of just do them live, mainly because I just like the comments. 14 Miller Lights can get heavy at times. Damn right. I'm like 1 3/4 margaritas in right now. So yeah, I'm a little buzzed as well. And so when I saw the Dave Coulier news, I was like, F it, we're going live with Dave Coulier. Because if he says his name is a stoner name, then I'm in. So let me think about better stoner names off the top of my head than Gladstone. Joey Bong Rip. I know that's a little edgy for ABC. And so maybe that was the point, is that they needed it to sound kind of like a Jellystone or a Yellowstone, but not be too obvious. So Joey, Joey Gravity Bong's not going to work. Gladstone is pretty solid. If that was his first go-to, I'll say it's solid for an ABC family show. Those damn Olsen twins had to hear the name the whole time and never put it together that it was a stoner thing. I'm trying to think. Joey Resin Ball, Joey Pipe Cleaner, Joey Quarterbag, Joey Dime Bag, Joey Chronic. Let's see. What other good Joey names are there? There's Robert Weir. Let's put that up. Hell yeah, Steve. When it's Saturday night, Joey Grass. That's thing, yeah, exactly. Keep it simple. Joey Grass, Joey Pot, Joey Herb, Joey Weed, Joey Marijuana. Take all the surface level ones. What are some other good ones other than Gladstone? Joey Crossfade or something like that. That's something that the younger people taught me about, is the crossfade. So I think the crossfade is what. What'd you miss? Rodeo MT. Oh, Joey Roach Clip. Shit, sports clips. That's it. Joey Roach Clip. Fuck. Like, I want to make that movie right now. That sounds like Joe Dirt or like Drill Bit Taylor or something like that. Like, Joey Roach Clip is great. For a period of like 3 months, people randomly called me Roach when I was like 14. I'm glad that went away. I don't particularly care for that name, but I loved smoking roaches because they're very resonated. So you get those joints and people would throw them out at the end. And back then it's all, swag bags and stuff like that. Especially when you're like 14 and shit. It's not like you're getting good herb. So if there was ever a resonated roach, I was the guy. I would take that thing home, rock it at 10 p.m. at night, midnight, and, you're in freshman year and stuff like that. Great time. Love a good roach. All right. So let's get back to Dave Coulier here. Full House, it talks about that a little bit more. It starred Coulier, the late Bob Saget, John Stamos. John Stamos, American hero, right? Good One Sports C. That's right. Roach Clip is just such a fun word. So back in the day, if you've ever gone to a Payway, I have not been to a Payway or a PF Chang's in a long time. It was Payway that I recall the most, though. That was the one that I could afford back in the day. So they had these like little like center containers in the middle of their tables, and there was a little pole that stuck up, and that's where you would clip your number. So they'd give you a number. It's, order at the counter. Hey, here's your number 52. Go sit down at your table. And one time I noticed, oh man, this thing's kind of loose. And so you start screwing it, and I'm bad about the lefty, or sorry, I was bad. I'm very good now about the lefty loosey righty tighty thing. So I started twisting it, and I was like, oh, I got to tighten this little number holder thing. And I accidentally loosened it. And what it is it's like a long holder that's got a little roach clip on the end, because that's where they want you to put the number. So it's really just like a long metal pole. So it's like an old school kick-ass cigarette clip. So you could take like it's essentially like a foot-long roach clip, and it is badass. So if you're ever looking for a cheap roach clip, I mean, I'm sure Amazon sells them. I'm talking about when I was like 21 years old, 20 years old and shit like that, when I was looking for cheap stuff. So I don't smoke a lot of joints on my own. But if you're looking for a cheap roach clip, go to a Payway and just lift that little bar out of there. I'm sure they've got plenty more. They can order more from their corporate office and stuff like that. So good little roach clip advice is all I'll say there. All right, let's move on here. There's a Fullest House. I guess he's still on there. So let's see here. Reduce mic background noise, just in case my dog barks. That was annoying last night. I try not to lock him up. I got a big one. So there's one that will never bark because she doesn't care. She's a little pug. And then there's one that will bark at anything because she's a good rescue dog, guard dog. So if you are just now joining us, breaking news. Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that his Uncle Joey's name was a stoner joke. So the man's name was Uncle Joey Gladstone. Gladstone, apparently, he came up with just because he thought it was funny. All right, so now in other Dave Coulier news that is by no means new, Dave Coulier reveals first thoughts after hearing Alanis Morissette's You Ought to Know. So the You Ought to Know thing, I loved Alanis Morissette when I was a kid. Like that record had to have come out in 95, 94, the Jagged Little Pill record, maybe 96. I mean, shit, I can just look it up. I don't have to guess. Let's get this shit right, Steve. Let's play Tavares while we're at it. Got to go with my left hand. Tavares, start over. Where's Tavares? Start over, Tavares.
Tavares, right in the butt.
All right, Jagged Little Pill. Oh, shit.
This is the best.
Yeah, this is the best. That's right, it is. This is the best. All right, Jagged Little Pill released June 13th, 1995. So an article published by People magazine here indicates that Alanis Morissette may be considered one of the let's see here. Gotta love the paraphernalia advice hour with Strip Mall. This is classic. I like Buzzball Steve. Yeah, I have no guardrails right now. I'm not employed by any media entity. Don't know that I ever will be again. So we're just gonna have fun. Like I said, there's gonna be Dave Coulier in the background. There he is. Which way is Dave Coulier? Is it that way? Oh, there's Dave Coulier there. There he is back there too. Is he over there? Woo! There's Coulier's face. He's incredible. All right. So Alanis Morissette's You Ought to Know may be considered one of the most heated breakup songs of all time. I didn't know it was a breakup song until somebody told me in 5th grade. Because, 95, I distinctly remember being in like 5th, 6th grade after school. And somebody was like, hey, you know that going down on him in a theater thing? That's about Uncle Joey. Alanis' album was epic for the raging just breakup Karens. I said, I loved the record as a 10-year-old, probably because MTV pumped it like crazy. Like it was always in the buzzworthy clips and stuff like that. So MTV loved that record. So they played it a bunch. Isn't It Ironic was an easy song to latch onto for a 10-year-old. You Ought to Know. It just kind of rocked. I wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics too much. I think I paid attention more to the lyrics and like Head Over Feet and stuff like that. But anyway, this was all about her going down on him in a theater, a movie theater, I would presume. So anyway, let's get back to this here. Alanis Morissette's You Ought to Know may be considered one of the most heated breakup songs of all time, but there's no bad blood, apparently. The Full House star Dave Coulier, who has long spoken publicly about believing he is the inspiration for the Kiss, for the track there, he opened up about it on a podcast. Yeah, good Lord. Let me tell you, that's the problem with podcasts. Everyone has them. That's one of the reasons I hate doing this. I'm like, this isn't necessary. No one needs this, but you all join in like Robert and Danny and Sports Cucks and Rodeo MT. And like I said, I'm just one of those people who listens to this stuff too. I'm bored as shit during the day most of the time. So, and I don't mean like that I don't have work to do. I'm usually doing other stuff. I just like to put stuff in my ear holes. So that's why I kind of like doing this. Anyway, so yeah, Coulier has talked about how he's long been the subject of this thing. And he says, quote, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool hook. And then I start hearing the voice and I'm like, wow, this girl can sing. And I had no idea, that this was the record. And then I was listening to the lyrics going, ooh, oh no, I can't be this guy. Coulier, who I think is now 64, maybe 63, said he quickly made a trip to the record store and bought the Jagged Little Pill CD, which he listened to all the way through while parked on a street. Unnecessary information. Didn't need to know where he listened to it. There was a lot of familiar stuff in there that her and I had talked about. Like, your shake is like a fish. Dead fish handshake, one of my favorite handshakes, by the way. It's a hilarious handshake. Sorry if I'm scratching my nips over here. My nip itched. I got a little nip itch over here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you probably can't. It's behind a comment. But yeah, I was itching my nipple right there. So he listened to it in a car. So yeah, your shake is like a fish. Dead fish handshake. I recommend it. Lots of guys really pride themselves on having a strong, tough gripped handshake that will break bones. You just dead fish them. Just stick your hand like right up there. Look at that. Look at that hand. Just stick it up there. Just dead fish them, and they won't know what to do with themselves. It's just a complete cold dead fish, and they can squeeze it as hard as they want. Won't hurt. Doesn't matter. Don't care. So she said, "Hey, dead fish me," and we'd do this dead fish handshake. Yeah, hilarious. Okay, so he's right on the same page. Quote, and so I started listening to it and I thought, ooh, I think I may have really hurt this woman. I don't know that he said ooh in such a in such a fun, spicy way as I did. Might have been more something like, let me take it again. Hold on. Take it from the top. Ooh, I think I may have really hurt this woman. No, 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 no. That's too dour. Creepy handshake like a corpse. Ooh, I may have really hurt this woman. More contemplative, like he almost feels bad, but not enough. I mean, because clearly he's already dumped her. He doesn't care that much. I think he only cares because it's public knowledge. Are they both Canadian, by the way? I apologize. I'll look in a second. Um, so he said that him and Morissette, whom he dated in 1992, eventually reconnected years later. Does that mean hooked up? I think if you reconnect with an ex, you definitely bang them at least once just to see. Um, you're like, even if you're just casually talking, I'd imagine that happens. So I don't know what Dave Coulier and Alanis Morissette's situation was, but based on the quotes around the word reconnected in this article, I'm gonna say that something happened. Um, he says she couldn't have been sweeter. Hmm. And I said, "What do you want me to say when people ask about this relationship?" Uh, thank you, sports guys. I'm just gonna throw that on the screen. Don't care. What do you want me to say when people ask about this relationship? And she said, "You can say whatever you want." So she was really sweet about it. Coulier then gave an example of the kind of person she is, explaining how in 1992, the singer drove from Toronto, Canada, to Detroit to visit his sister Sharon. Sharon's a weird name, who was dying of cancer in the hospital. Quote, she actually drove to Detroit with her guitar and sat with my sister playing songs and singing to my sister in the hospital. Ugh. Like, no offense, I'm a songwriter. I spent a lot of my years writing songs. I don't do it on a day-to-day basis anymore. There's nothing I want less in my hospital room than to have somebody come and play songs and sing to me in the hospital. I probably want to watch Price is Right and Jeopardy and maybe some movies that I like until I just die. That's probably what I want to happen in the hospital. Please don't come and visit me and sing. Please, if anyone in my family is ever watching this, don't come sing to me in the hospital. Put on a good movie. Put on Mr. Mom. Put on a Batman movie for all I care. I love those things. Put on anything I connected with as a kid, or anything that's decently made. That's it. If it's well made, I'll enjoy it. That's fine. All right, so Morissette has been tight-lipped about the song's inspiration, saying in 2019 that there would be, quote, no revealing just who broke her heart. Well, that's a rip. Why doesn't she dish? Hold on, back to Tavares.
Varus, right in the butt?
Sometimes I need a drink.
No. Flake. This is the best. Yeah,
That's right. This is the best. And if you are just joining us, by the way, the breaking news of the night is that Full House star Dave Coulier admits that Uncle Joey's name was a stoner joke. That's right. The name Joey Gladstone, not as innocent as it once was portrayed to be. I don't know why they did this to us children, but they were poisoning us with drug language. So Gladstone was all just a clever ruse to sneak in drug language to a family-friendly show on ABC, owned by Disney. Thanks a lot, Dave Coulier, for getting me hooked on smack. Thank you. All right. And other stuff though. Yeah, like Alanis has not talked about it much. Coulier told BuzzFeed in 2014 that he didn't want to be that guy in the song, as the subject is a real asshat. All right, so let's just go through the lyrics super quick, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I'm not gonna waste too much of your time here. We got two more. I'm gonna sing all your hits starting with Super Nut. What is the greatest nut? Super nut. Super nut songs are fun because there's only a few background harmonies on those. That's the thing. There's not a lot of work to do other than the music. But the work comes in cutting up conversations and trying to make them into new conversations when it comes to DJ Trucknut's songs. Steve Sajak is gone. Pat Sajak's off. The old Sajak's gone, man. Like I don't know when Seacrest joins. I got to do some research on that. Like I know he's the new host, but I don't know if this is the end of their season and they pick it back up in August or September or what, or if it's 2 weeks off, 2 weeks of reruns, and then we get Seacrest next week because I've seen no media blitz about Seacrest yet. Okay, you ought to know lyrics because again, the breaking news of the day. Let's just get back to it again for anyone who's just joining us now. Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that Uncle Joey's name was a stoner joke. That's right, Gladstone, not as innocent as it once seemed. And then we talked about Dave Coulier revealing his first thoughts after hearing Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know." That's right. So now let's get into the lyrics here. I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. Immediately implies that Dave Coulier has taken up with another lady, an older version of me. So an older lady. Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Pretty much the only line I remember from the song is that somebody went to the movies and got a beach. Good for them. It's tough to pull off unless you're with a real randy gal or unless the theater's dead empty. Because otherwise it's just highly inappropriate. Like you should probably just wait till you go somewhere else. Like even a car beach is probably better than a movie theater beach. But if this did really happen, would she go down on you in a theater? Good for Alanis and good for Dave. Does she speak eloquently? I know I don't. And would she have your baby? I don't know that Alanis Morissette ever had anyone's babies. Let's see. Alanis Morissette, children. Does she have children? She does. She's got a kid. Alanis Morissette and her husband are the proud parents of 3 children. Okay. So she was willing to have his baby. Not an Alamo Draft House intro. Yeah, it is too soon. Sorry. I hope they're going to reopen. I've got tickets for Wednesday. I don't know who to ask. Should I ask Dave Coulier over there? Should I ask his big, beautiful face? Look at it over there. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's right there. Look at it. There's his eye. I can see his eye right there. His eye, and there's his nose. I'm going to become a weatherman soon. Sorry. I get distracted easily. So she was willing to have his babies. And I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother. Okay. Because the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make enough for you to be open wide. No, and every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you'd hold me until you died? Till you died. But you're still alive. So it sounds like Dave Coulier was misleading her quite a bit. That's right, Steve Delkus. We've got a strong front of major old guy Coulier coming in here, or we've got a big pompadour Coulier coming in over here on the East Coast. So I need to be open by the time Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. Tell me about the first Deadpools. Should I watch them? I feel like I've watched one Wolverine, but Deadpool feels like a $250 million movie where they're telling me about how they're spending $250 million to make fun of me at a movie theater. So I like Ryan Reynolds. I have not watched any of them, but I know they make a lot of cheeky jokes about, hey, you're at a movie watching a movie. So I know that's kind of the vibe of the franchise, but I haven't watched any of it. I think I watched the first Maybe the first Wolverine movie. I can't remember. Did they do X-Men's first with Hugh Jackman? Because I remember the like early 2000 X-Men's, and I don't think those had Hugh Jackman. And then I remember maybe watching one where he like woke up in some lumberjack barn or something. I don't know. So I'm very bad on the superhero stuff outside of Batman. Batman, I'm a diehard. Um, Marvel stuff, I've had a hard time getting into, unfortunately. All right, back to Atlantis's lyrics. You seem very well. Things look peaceful. I'm not quite as well. I thought you should know. Did you forget about me, Mr. Duplicity? I don't know what duplicity means. I think that means that you have two personalities and you mess with people. Duplicity, deceitful, double dealing. Yep, there you go. I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner, but it was a slap in the face how quickly I was replaced. And are you thinking of me when you F her? You should watch the Deadpool series. They're pretty good. First one is good as the second one is okay. See, I didn't even know that there was a second one. I knew there was one. I kind of thought this was the second one. So good to know that there's two. I know he's funny. I know he's a funny I know he's a funny superhero, so I'm in with that. Not as good as Multiplicity. Fuck yeah, man. I think all those guys were named Steve too. Um Man, I loved Multiplicity. I have not revisited it in a long time, but I absolutely adore Keaton. Keaton was my Batman. Keaton was my Mr. Mom. I love The Paper. The Paper's kind of an underrated one that I'm not going to tell you it's going to jump out of the screen and slap you in the face. But if you love kind of like a workplace comedy movie, it really, really works. It's got Marissa Tomei. I think it's got Robert Duvall in it. Um, I think it's got Randy Quaid in it. I believe he's like a local beat reporter or something like that. But I love The Paper to pieces. I think Ron Howard directed that one. So that is a great Keaton movie. Shit, I might go watch that after this here. I'm going to wrap up in just 2 seconds here. And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. And it's not fair to deny me of the cross I bear that you gave to me. Oh, because the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. We already read that part. Sorry. Because the joke that you laid in the bed, that was me, and I'm not gonna fade as soon as you close your eyes. Something like that. And every time I scratch my nails down someone else's back, now we're talking, Robert. Uh, don't be surprised if I do a My Cousin Vinny soon. My Cousin Vinny is one of my. I haven't done my rankings officially. I got to go into my letterbox and do like real deal rankings or something. Man, I love My Cousin Vinny to pieces, and Marissa Tomei is just not only gorgeous but just an incredible actress in that one. I think deserved the Oscar that year. I know it's a much maligned year, but it is a wonderful, wonderful film. Um, I've known some people who got very committed to like following the locations, or not following, but like finding all of the locations where they filmed that, from the interior courthouses to like all the little like barbecue shops and the little bars that they went to and the exterior shots. So it's a great, great film. I love that movie. Obviously Lane Smith, who was in the Mighty Ducks franchise and Son-in-Law, and then Pesci playing the role of his lifetime. So all right. So when I'm here to remind you, yeah, and that's it, Dave Coulier. So final breaking news, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Boom. Top 10 for Weir. Breaking news, like I said, Dave Coulier, I'm going to throw it up on the screen one more time. Full House star Dave Coulier has admitted that his Uncle Joey name was a stoner joke. That's right, Joey Gladstone, not the innocent man you thought he was. In fact, Joey Gladstone, nothing more than a stoner. So cut it out and find some wood, okay? Woodchuck. All right, I'll see you next time. Have a lot of fun, cats.